So they would watch on tour, and I would keep up in that way. I mean, I love sports. I love the atmosphere. To me, it's like the greatest performance. I mean, talk about a great crowd and a great spectacle. That's right up my alley.
You mentioned being an active kid. You have a show on the Cartoon Network, Destroy, Build, Destroy, which I believe is in its second season right now.
Yes, we're actually just about to film some more episodes, in fact.
And it struck me when that show started, it kind of seemed like that old show Junkyard Wars, except with kids and more explosions.
I think that's actually a very good description. I mean, if you cross that with, I guess, something like the A-Team, maybe, except I had never seen, I think the most unprecedented, the most original part of the show is the fact that we're combining teenagers with these junkyard sort of setting, teenagers with these explosions and 500-foot fireballs. I mean, the explosions are so big that we have to film the show in the desert where there's nothing around for literally miles. We have to put the kids in blast shields. I mean, you can feel the heat from 500 feet away, and it shakes the whole ground. They're really Hollywood-level explosions, and there's a 100-person crew on set making this show when we're filming it. It really is a very, very big production as far as the explosions go.
You have to be a hero to all these kids now, because you're the one who's letting them blow up other people's creations with helicopters and remote-controlled tanks and things like that.
They do get to have a lot of fun, and I hope they understand how excited I am there to be a part of it as well. I mean, I think I try to ask them how they look at me, if they think of me as an adult or as sort of maybe someone their age but who is older or has the same attitude. They said they think of me as a big kid and like an older kid, but not an adult. And I don't know if that's just because of how I look or how I act on the show, or maybe because I am, relatively younger than most of the other folks working on the show. It's interesting. I want to be their friend. That's the most important thing.
Is that how you see yourself, as a big kid?
An older kid? Well, I was thinking about that recently because now that I'm 30 years old, I mean, I'm definitely not a kid by legal definition. And I was wondering, are you supposed to start feeling more like a grown-up, or what does it feel like to be a grown-up? What is a grown-up and what is an adult? And there's been, I guess, the classical idea that we were taught in school more, or that maybe just from culture in general, is sort of that you get serious as you grow up and you kind of lose certain senses of excitement that maybe you had. You kind of focus in and maybe you give up, most of all, you give up lots of interests or dreams that you had as a young person with this idea that now you're an adult and it's time to get serious and learn how the real world is. I think that's unfortunate, and that probably the biggest tragedy about growing up is this idea that you have to abandon what interested you as a youth. I think, in fact, it's the exact opposite, that the whole idea is you get excited about whatever you're excited about as a young person when you're very open-minded, when you're very free, when you haven't been polluted or damaged by, I guess, being alive longer. You hold on to those very pure loves of your life, those interests that really get you excited, and you use the abilities you develop as an adult to make them come true. Basically staying true to that younger version of you and becoming like a really idealized, grown-up, big version of what you were all along. I mean, have you ever seen that movie, The Kid, with Bruce Willis?
Oh, yeah.
You remember that, right?
He becomes the little kid and there's an airplane in it.
Yes. Exactly, yeah. Bruce Willis somehow comes back as himself as a child and meets himself as an adult. And at first, it's that's just a novel meeting of two of the same guy in modern day life. That's a great plot point. But the movie unfolds to show that Bruce Willis as a young child is really disappointed with the Bruce Willis as an adult. And it's because when he was a child, he wanted to have a dog. When he grew up, he said, as soon as I grow up, I'm going to have a dog. Or as soon as I grow up, I'm going to become a professional pilot and fly airplanes around. Bruce Willis's adult character had given up on all that and had become this kind of crabby old stoogey-like character. And I think that's a really good illustration of this idea, that the idea is to hold on to those dreams, to protect those dreams of your youth with all the strength and passion that you have, and to work tirelessly to make them come true. Nothing's more important. But that's just my opinion.
You've done some motivational speaking lately, I can tell, with the power there. Is that the kind of message you want to get across when you do your speaking?
Well, sure. I mean, I'm pretty much there when it comes to motivational lectures and speaking like that. I mean, that's still relatively new for me. I've been doing it now, I guess, for about 5 years. Maybe it isn't that new. Going to colleges, doing events at churches, even at just open regular old venues in New York. But it was a new way of performing, non-musical performing, basically. But I wanted to get that same feeling across that I would from a musical concert, that feeling of excitement, of adrenaline, really, of raw energy. And then people can really take that and apply it to whatever they want. So we talk about all kinds of stuff. We'll talk about very basic forms of motivation, about creating that energy within yourself. And then we'll also just have fun being in a room together. And that usually creates that same energy somehow or another anyway.
All right, Andrew W.K., thanks a lot for taking the time out.
Thank you.
Here today.
You did a great job. Thank you so much for having me and for your great preparation. I'm very excited to be here.
Oh, that's good. I like when people are excited to be in Brockport. That's
it's a beautiful day today. It's not hard to be happy.
All right, thanks a lot.